operating inside a system, benefiting from it, enforcing its rules, holding other people accountable to it, and then the moment it becomes personally inconvenient, steps right outside it like nothing happened. What do you call that? Because that's exactly what's happening inside the Democratic Party right now, and voters are noticing. The numbers are brutal. Around 55% of Americans view the Democratic Party unfavorably. Only about a third view them positively. That's not a bad news cycle, and it's not a messaging problem you fix with a sharper slogan or a better TikTok strategy. That's the American people looking at what this party has become and saying, we don't trust what you're selling. This week, Democrats rolled out a brand new election playbook for 2026. New tactics, new outreach, new ways to connect with voters who have been walking away. They're calling it a fresh start, a way to move past the failures of 2024 and get back in the game before the midterms. And sure, fine, every party regroups after a loss. That's pretty standard around here. But there's a difference between fixing your strategy and actually reckoning with why it failed. A new playbook tells you how to run the plays, but it doesn't ask whether you've been calling the wrong ones all along. For years, Democrats didn't just embrace identity politics, they built the party around it. Who speaks, who leads, whose voice carries the most weight. It wasn't one approach among many, it was the framework, the operating system. And if you wanted to be taken seriously inside that party, you got on board, learned the language, and you didn't ask too many uncomfortable questions about whether any of it was actually working. Now there's a new conversation happening about 2028, about what kind of candidate the party actually needs to win. And the answer quietly surfacing in Democratic circles, a straight, white Christian guy. Not because anyone is standing up and saying we were wrong, and not because the principle changed, but because it stopped working at the ballot box.
Wow, it's a lot to take in. If you think about it, Democrats are in worse shape than Republicans are. I mean, granted, we're in a war right now, and the economy is not doing so good. But just think about it. If a lot of things change in reference to the economy, the war stopping, 3 to 4 weeks note like President Trump promised, we still have a lot of time to make ground for the midterms. I mean, right now he's pushing that we might end up losing the House, but retaining the Senate. But with those poll numbers, Democrats are in big trouble.
A little interesting right now, Gabe, about a year out from the midterms. Here, look, Donald Trump's approval ratings are certainly nothing to write home about. And this is what Democrats are looking at in terms of a challenge to take back the House, the current balance of power. With those vacancies, if they are filled the way we expect them to be, it would be 220 seats for the Republicans. There it is, 220 for the Republicans, 215 for the Democrats. And that would mean Democrats really would only need a net gain of 3 seats to get the House. Now,
but all of that could change, though. It all depends on like how the war ends, right? If the war was to end pretty soon, like what Trump promised in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that would give us a long time to pretty much set up the economy the way it should be before the midterms.
Keep in mind, Republicans are trying to redraw maps in a number of states right now to boost that total. So there may be more of a pad here for Republicans than meets the eye when you just look at this balance of power. So that's one challenge for Democrats. But of course, Democrats are hoping that this goes like the midterm did in Trump's first term. And if it did, this would be nothing because Democrats gained 40 seats. It was a blue wave in Trump's midterm. So the thing about that midterm the first time around was you could see it coming from a long way away. October 20.
But not this time, though, because the Democrats, their approval rating is worse than the Republicans. More unpopular than Donald Trump, Republicans, Democrats are in the tank right now.
2017, more than a year out, the generic ballot asking folks which party do you want to see control Congress. Democrats were leading on average in the generic ballot by nearly 8 points. And this was the level they basically maintained through all of 2018, right up to Election Day, right up to the blue wave when they gained 40 seats and flipped the House. So where is the generic ballot right now? Well, Democrats lead it, but not by nearly as much. It's a 3-point average lead for Democrats on the generic ballot now. So again, this is not terrible news for Democrats, but there was clarity even at this point in 2018 that something was coming. That's
a big plus or minus, right?
Number suggests you're not at that point right now. And one of the reasons Democrats may not be at the point has to do with this, the image of each party. Again, looking back here at October of 2017, if you looked at all the polling back then, neither party was popular, but one party was a lot less popular than the other. Republicans in Trump's first term, 27% average favorable score at this point. Democrats were up at 39%. There was a pretty clear imbalance there. It worked to the favor of Democrats. What do you have right now when you run these same numbers? Well, again, neither one's popular, but the
Wow. That's a big change. So now the Republicans are up 6 compared to they were down 12. That's a huge change. So on the surface, it looks like, everything is going good for the Democrats. But again, if this war ends pretty soon, you still have a good 4 months to make changes before the midterms.
Republicans are sitting at 41 favorable, the Democrats at 35 favorable. The Democrats are less popular than the Republicans now. And that's one of the things when you look at midterm elections, the opposition party counts on getting a bit of a boost just from being sort of the protest vehicle for anyone who's got issues with the White House. Democrats, though, with numbers like that, you got to worry a little bit. Are people wanting to send a message to them as well, Gabe?
Democrat crime. Absolutely. This to me screams, again, primary challenges across the map. And it screams to me, hey, when it comes to those next leadership elections, maybe something might be cooking.
What's overall approval among Democrats of their leaders?
Yeah, okay. So, you speak about Democrat on Democrat crime. And I want to know how unusual what we're seeing.
It might be a Democrat and Democrat crime for real, because Democrats are very good at primarying each other. And the way things went or going right now, you can see a lot of old people or pretty much the ones who've been established in Congress getting primaried.
Seeing right now about how Democrats feel about Democrats in Congress is, take a look at this. This is a trend line going back through the years, midterm elections in which there's a GOP president. Look at this. In 2006, Dems' net approval of congressional Democratic leaders was plus 28. You go back to the last midterm, look at that, plus 19. Very much on the positive side. The bottom has fallen out. The bottom is...
Wow. Again, that is some huge numbers, some huge changes in there. Plus 19 to now minus 4. That is crazy.
It's fallen out. Minus 4 points. That is Democrats' own net approval of their own congressional leaders. Even Democrats don't like their own leaders when it comes to Congress. And overall, of course, the numbers are just absolutely awful. So Democrat on Democrat crime, absolutely. This to me screams, again, primary challenges across the map. And it screams to me, hey, when it comes to those next leadership elections, maybe something might be.
I'm out with a new scoop. Democrats have issued a first of its kind political and organizing playbook designed to help the party reach voters in new ways and turn the chapter on 2024 as it looks towards the 2026 midterms to flip key congressional races and take back control of the House. The playbook reads that over the past decade, the Democratic campaign industry and its funders have become obsessed with massive, shiny output numbers from traditional tactics. Millions of calls made and hundreds of thousands of doors knocked. The playbook looks to flip the script on this and introduce new ways to help Democrats reach voters and build more sustainable, lasting relationships.
More like Democrats going to find a reason, like find a crisis. Democrats could never win on pure politics. I mean, yeah, I guess it's politics in the same sense, but they got to find a crisis to make people want to go out there. I guess both sides does it. But if the Republicans actually go ahead and flip the economy, that's going to disincentivize the Democrats' personnel as far as their voters to come out. So then that could play in the best favor, and this playbook that they have, it could be nullified.
It looks to persuade them that they're the party that should be in charge come 2026. Along with the playbook, Democrats also announced the National Voter Registration Week of Action as they look to build on the momentum of the No Kings protests we saw last week. Read all the details on Newsweek.com and follow along for more insights on the campaign trail.
Yeah, the Democrats got it bad right now. They may still win the midterms, and then in a good position to win the midterms. But a lot could still change. They recently just had the No Kings protest. There's no king in the United States, but they still had one, right? They need a crisis. The Democrats need a crisis. That's how they've always won elections. And they're very good at it. Very, very, very good at it. Last midterms, they went in for the abortion. And it was pretty bad for the Republicans. Right now, there's nothing really to fight on. Last year, they had this big shutdown pertaining to healthcare. But again, if we could fix the economy as far as the war ending pretty soon, we would have a good time frame to have everybody start feeling that relief. And not to mention, I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but there's a possibility if that stimulus still goes into where Trump's going to give that money to every family members, that could also change a lot too. So I guess they were talking about $2,000 being placed to everyone from that tariff. If that tariff money does come, that could be a real relief in people's pocket. We're in a better situation. People are still hurting. So it's up to the president and the Republicans to make people feel that. But we all know how Congress works. Nothing is really being done from the Republican side. Everyone, both Republican and Democrats, the only time they push for things aggressively is when they're in the minority. Right now, Republicans have both the House and the Senate, and they have the presidency, but not too much is happening. Everyone is scared of doing certain things. But we do know if the Democrats get in there, they're going to push all different kind of crazy legislation. Again, let's see how it goes. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Out.